This is a comparative analysis. Now, there's many different ways to view a stock. I just chose this way, and I made it pretty simple. This is the numbers game. There's two ways to value a stock. There's the story, and then there's the numbers. And both of them you can really get in depth. And this is by no means an exhausted valuation of the numbers. It would take much more paper and much more time. But for time's sake, I'm making it fairly simple. With the story of a stock, what you would analyze would be things like the product line, its CEO, how much do the CEOs make, the atmosphere of the company, so how are employees treated, how are customers treated, things of that nature. And then the numbers, which I call the numbers game, will be things like gross profit margins, discounted cash flows. This right here is not a discounted cash flow model, of course. I'm just naming off a few of them. Looking at EBITDA and comparing it within the industry, things of that nature. Building an Excel spreadsheet, and you can really make those complicated, and you can, go really far in the past. You can go 15, 20 years, as far as you want. And you can go even into the future with those discounted cash flow models, talking 50 to 100 years. I think that's kind of absurd, but some analysts will do that. I think 10 years max is the most reasonable way to go about business, but some people will take like things like Coca-Cola and build a 50-year discounted cash flow model. To me, that's just a waste of your time. In my opinion, it's not going to bring anything profitable. I mean, if they earn money 20 years from now, they earn money whether you built that model or not. So that's why it's a waste of time. Now, a comparative analysis of the most recent data, that's more reasonable. Now, the most recent data would be, of course, the earnings call, but this right here is just yearly, so 10Ks. The most recent would be the 10Qs. You'd look into the 10Qs, and a lot of the companies have their first quarters out. Then you would adjust the numbers. And some people are such professionals in certain industries that they can adjust the numbers to get you the best valuation or picture of a company that you could possibly get. In this video, I boiled it down to 6 numbers though: revenue, gross profit margins, operating cash flow, total equity, current ratio, cash and cash equivalents. And for people who don't know what the current ratio is, you just simply take the current assets and divide it by the current liabilities. There's other forms of cash ratios that you can do. I just chose that one. Some people will take the inventories and minus that from the current assets before they divide it by the current liabilities. The last tool I wanted to look at would be the compounded annual growth rate. Let's look at Facebook between 2017 to 2019. The revenue on the left, 31.8%, operating cash flow at 22.4%, total equity 16%, cash and cash equivalents 14.6% compounded annual growth rate. Now, when you compare this to Google and Apple, you would have to say that out of those three, Facebook would be the better pick. The last 3 companies I wanted to compare would be Amgen, Merck, and Biogen. And the reason why I like comparing pharmaceutical industry to the tech industry is that both of those industries have the highest gross profit margins compared to any other industry. Now, when you look at these numbers, in my opinion, I'd say Biogen would be the best pick. Merck would be the second best option. Both of those are very good picks within these 3 companies. The reason why I'd probably go with Biogen over Merck is just based on the fact that their total equity has 2.85% growth rate, whereas Merck had a negative 13.14%. When you compare all 6 of these stocks, you would still have to say Facebook is the better pick. The second best option would be Google, which has a revenue growth rate for 20.5%, operating cash flow 21.3% growth rate, Total equity 15.1% annual growth rate, cash and cash equivalents 8.4%. That still does not beat Facebook.